What's up, everybody? So, if you're in Europe, this is kind of an urgent message for you because the European Parliament and member states have just reached an agreement to launch the digital ID, the EID they call it. And that will entail a lot of your personal information, your biometric data, medical records, even your location and through GPS. It would also include a digital wallet and the launch officially now of the digital euro. The message I'm trying to get out to you here, if you're in Europe, is that you still have a chance to write to your parliament members and representatives and object to this digital ID project because they're going to vote on it soon. And of course, needless to say, the majority of the members will support it because, as you know, Parliament in Europe and in most countries around the world really represents the government more than it represents the people, or so it seems. So Rob Roos, a member of the Parliament, just walked out of the meeting and he put out this video on the social media. Just watch what he says.
I just left the room where we had the negotiations about the digital identity. And I have bad news. The member states and the European Parliament came to an agreement. That means that probably not far from now, the digital identity will be a fact in the European Union. Right after this agreement, Commissioner Breton said, now we have the digital identity wallet, we have to put something in it. And what he meant was the digital euro, also known as the central bank digital currency. And this is a very bad development. They always promise us not to make this connection. And even a lot of experts, privacy experts and security experts, warned also last week this is a very bad idea for our privacy and our freedom. And still, this digital identity is pushed through. But it's not too late, because we still have to vote on this in the plenary. So what you can do, send your MEP from your member state an email and tell him or tell her that you are against this tool.
So the idea of the digital ID and digital euro and all that stuff, sure, it's about privacy and surveillance and all these things are a given. But because it's a programmable currency, it can be programmed to do other things as well or to have other restrictions. For example, it can be restricted geographically so that you can use it only in certain areas. And if you were following the COVID drama the past couple of years, especially if you were in Australia where they went like full fascist over there, in Australia, you were actually not allowed to move from one district to another. Not between countries, not across borders even, but within Australia from one district to another, even to visit family or whatever. And so with a digital euro or with a digital currency, you can easily program it so that it works only in this area or only in this town or neighborhood, but not in others. You can program it to work for specific things like you can buy food maybe, but you can't buy a train ticket or a bus ticket or pay for a taxi. In cases of lockdowns, it can be programmed to work only online, but you can't go to the supermarket and buy stuff. And so on. There are so many scenarios. I mean, that could be a separate video altogether. In some cases, they have been experimenting also with the expiring currency so that it expires after a certain period of time. So you have to spend your money by the end of this month or else it's gone. So they can manage your spending rate and savings rate within the economy without the need for taxation or interest rates or the typical fiscal and monetary policies that they typically use to control the economy. Now they can just force you to save or spend. It's gone. And then you have a case of taxation without representation. So your constitutional rights, typically we think of them as freedom of speech and, privacy and all that, and then that's true, but there are other constitutional rights that you never thought anybody would think of infringing on, but they're also going out the window. So if you're in Europe, please write to your parliament members and representatives and let them know that you're against this, because once this comes into law, you're not going to be able to take it back. And if you're not in Europe, well, then you have a head start, because this charade is coming soon to a theater near you.